This is the Throttle Out Show, presented by Vixen Industries, the only show where monster truck drivers and mechanics come together to present what's happening in the monster truck community. It's the ultimate combination of torque, horsepower, and trash talk. And now for your hosts. First, straight out of the heart of Detroit Rock City, it's Kid Rock's neighbor and former driver of the BKT ride truck. It's Austin Spence. And the duo deep in the heart of Texas, it's the show owner and daughter of a man who conquered the industry for over 20 years. It's Harley Johnson, along with everyone's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike, Austin Tweedy. So go ahead, fuel up, strap in, and remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wheels Up Wednesdays. I'm one of your hosts, Austin Spence, joined by always the awesome duo in the heart of Texas, Harley Johnson and Mr. Austin.
Hey, what's going on?
Harley, where's Tweety? Is he like at a job or something again?
I think he is. It's just me tonight. I mean, there is some other guy here if you want him to join us tonight, maybe.
What do you mean? Is Waylon your dog? Like what's going on?
I don't know. There's some other guy here who wants to be on the show tonight.
I'm noticing a lot of purple. What's going on? Like there's
a theme. There's a theme going on.
Oh my gosh. Yes. We did it. We finally did it.
100 followers later, and we finally get the purple hair.
What's up, buddy?
Y'all thought it was time for gears and nachos. It's time for some beers in the Throttle Out Show.
Oh my gosh. Well, this just made my day. I hope everybody in the comments is having a blast with this. But dude, I think purple looks good on you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
What do you guys think in the comments? Should Mr. Tweety keep it?
I think people are liking it in the comments tonight.
Please, the Slinger group. Reaction all damn day, man. The die home is here.
Everyone's loving it. Everyone finally gets the purple hair. It's finally here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's Bryce Tweedy.
This is Bryce Tweedy.
Oh, all right. Well, we have a couple really awesome guests with us tonight. We'll keep talking about the hair, but we need to get on with the show.
Well, Mr. Bryce Tweedy, do you want to bring on our guest for
yes,
tonight?
Let's bring on our guest. So all the way up there, and I believe it's Tonganoxie, Kansas, so somewhere close, is a couple who we don't know a lot about. This couple. So we figured maybe we just go ahead, bring them on the show, get to know them. They can talk about their background in the industry. They can talk about what they've got going on, their other side hustles other than monster trucks, and also their family. Ladies and gentlemen, Travis Mowery and Kaylyn Migues. What's up, y'all?
How's it going, guys?
Wow, y'all are looking good up there in the Midwest. What's y'all had dinner yet? What's for dinner?
We got some barbecue chicken on the old Traeger sitting behind the camera here.
What's your address? I'm on my way. I haven't eaten yet, man. Barbecue chicken sounds so good right now.
I'm sure Darren would love it, guys.
Yeah. Darren, he knows how to cook some stuff up. It's pretty good.
Special delivery over here from my daughter. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you very much. Where's y'all's boy at tonight?
He's inside with the grandparents. If he was sitting here with us, we would not be able to have a conversation. He'd be trying to eat his hat and get everything on the table.
Well, I mean, what's the situation? When's this kid going to start driving? He's already going for rides and trucks we've seen.
Oh,
I got an assistant too.
It'll probably be sooner than we think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's a trucker already. He's probably got 10,000-12,000 travel miles under his belt already, and he's only 7 months old. But he's a trooper, man. We put him through a lot, but he just hangs out with us, and hopefully we'll see him in a mini monster in a few years. That's the goal, anyways.
There you go.
So this guy that just commented, we got us coming up right now, Lee Plateau. I hope I'm saying his last name right. I always get it wrong. But his boy just started driving a full-size monster truck, and currently he is the youngest full-size monster truck driver in the U.S. Is it a possibility y'all's boy could beat him? That kid is 13 years old. Do you think your boy could be driving by the time he's 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, if not sooner. I mean, he already sits on our lap when we're moving, the trucks around the shop, or
We got to move any vehicle, whether it's a lawnmower,
forklift.
pickup truck. He's there, and he really gets mad. Like if he's in the office with me at the shop, and if he can hear the trucks, he gets mad until I take him out there to see it or to ride on it.
Oh,
Aw.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so sweet.
Out there, he's going to be grinding, cutting, and welding, and he's going to be a huge help to a team.
Oh yeah, he definitely likes watching what we got going on in the shop on a daily. He'll come.
Sit there in a stroller.
Yeah, he'll just lock on to whatever. Normally me or Darren got something going on, and it's pretty cool.
Well,
Does he have a favorite driver between mom and dad?
He hasn't been to a show where both of us are driving yet. So I know
okay.
there was one time where my mom had him, and he was watching me and my dad drive, and my dad rolled over, and he thought it was funny.
Well, we got a special guest real quick. Just somebody want to say hi. Excuse me, miss. What is your name? Can you talk in the microphone and tell us what your name is?
Kinley.
You just want to say hi to everybody? You say hi?
Hi.
Look at the camera and wave it. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get down to business here, y'all. Let's talk about what's going on with Monster Jam first. They've got a couple shows going on this weekend. Harley, where are those shows at?
We actually have a big return in Monster Jam. Son of a Digger finally returns for
It's about
2021.
time. My word.
But it returns in a stadium or arena, returning in the People Center in Los Angeles this weekend. I believe it's 5 shows. Yep, it's 5 shows.
So everybody get your tickets in the LA area for Ryan Anderson Live, because none of the other trucks matters.
So
I said what I said.
Travis, Kaylyn, we want to know y'all's thoughts on this. So obviously the world has been awaiting the return of Son of a Digger in the monster truck world. Arguably one of the most popular, if not the most popular truck in monster trucks, has been absent all of 2021. So what's y'all's opinions on this truck coming back in an arena show, not a full-blown stadium show?
I think it'd be exciting. I'm a big fan of Ryan. He's a good dude, and he's a heck of a driver. And normally whenever he goes in an arena, he definitely knows how to wheel and put on a show. And for him to come back and the Son of a Digger in an arena would be interesting, but nonetheless, it'd be a good show.
If anything, it'll bring an extra element to the show. Just the fact you have, like you were just saying, just one of the best drivers in the game coming to an arena show. A lot of Monster Jam fans have voiced their opinions over the last year or two that they would wish Monster Jam would change these arena shows. I think, Harley, didn't you just see yesterday that they're actually going to start bringing the triple threats back? Isn't that right?
I was looking on Monster Jam's Facebook, and under their events page, they did have Monster Jam Triple Threat Series listed for shows. So I'm assuming they're bringing it back. I'm not sure.
So I think when you bring up these other listed drivers, which, by the way, who's going to be at this arena show? Y'all, Austin or Harley, do y'all know?
Armando Castro and El Toro, Bernard Light, Brittany, I can't pronounce her last name. Marco, I don't know. She's driving.
Brandon Vincent driving Digger?
Yeah, Brandon Vincent's driving Gravedigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'm missing a few.
So Brandon's obviously drove before this year, or I think he has anyways, right?
Yes.
He was with
Brandon drove
Armando. Wichita, yep.
Yeah, Armando and Bernard's, first show back.
And Brittany's.
And Brittany's. So, like Spence, you had already said, there's been some people who are kind of upset that they're bringing Ryan back, and there's like, okay, well, they've got people who haven't driven forever going up against him.
Yeah, I mean, as much it sounds biased and it sounds like I'm hating on it. It's just, when you pay that much money to go to a show, and we all know Monster Jam tickets are not cheap right now, you're literally mainly paying to see one driver essentially just sweep the entire weekend. There's no even competition, which I get it. You know, Monster Jam's more about the show aspect rather than actual competition. We've been over this, but to me, someone who's an avid monster truck fan for years, I'd rather see, you know, close racing, like see drivers actually like have a chance against one another. But I could be totally wrong. We saw Caleb Blood come back this weekend without even being in a truck and winning racing. So I might be underestimating those 3 drivers we recently talked about. Who knows? Maybe Bernard Light might actually win an overall. We don't know. But to me, the big name Ryan Anderson coming back in the Staples Center in an arena show, it's just you're paying so much money just to see one part, like an eighth of the entire act, which I imagine it's 8 trucks or 6 or whatever they decide to go with. But I don't know. It's like it's a tall task for those guys just coming back into the seat. I want to see how well they do, but my expectations are very low.
So Travis and Kaylyn, if y'all didn't know, the last few times that a new driver has come back that hasn't drove in over a year's time, I've totally put my foot on my mouth with predicting how they're going to perform in that next show. When Cynthia Gauthier came back, I said there's no way she's going to win anything, and she goes and wins 2-wheel. And then obviously Caleb Blood came out and won racing. So I want to know y'all's opinion. Who at that lineup that y'all have heard so far anyways would give Ryan a run for his money and really surprise everybody? Who could be the potential underdog from this weekend at that show anyways?
I mean, I'm not totally sure, but I guess in those drivers' defense, being someone who took 9 months off of driving and then getting back into it I got back into driving 3 months after he was born. It's kind of like riding a bike. You don't really forget it. I feel like if anything, what might get them is the adrenaline, the butterflies. I feel like that's where it might mess them up. But I feel like as a driver, they'll probably do okay because it's pretty easy to get back into the hang of it. What do you think?
I agree. Anytime you sit out of the seat for a while and get back in, like she said, it's just like riding a bicycle. As far as drivers go for the weekend, though, I think Brandon Vincent and Armando, those would probably be my top 2 picks, for this weekend to compete up there with Ryan. I mean, really in an arena, it's kind of a little bit of luck, I guess you could say, and in a sense, but it could be anybody's game. Really, just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I like that. And thanks y'all for those of y'all who are tuning in right now. Thank you so much, and yes, thank you for acknowledging my hair looks awesome tonight. I really appreciate it. So that's kind of wrapping up. What we're thinking, what's gonna happen this weekend out there in LA. We got another Monster Jam show, and we just got word today somebody's going to be driving a Gravedigger that hasn't drove in a while. Austin Spence, who might that be?
Downtown Randy Brown is finally coming back to the seat.
And you like Randy Brown because?
So I know someone who is a good friend of ours doesn't like it when I bring this up, but one of the last shows I actually saw Randy Brown compete before I actually worked for the company was Detroit. I believe it was 2014, 2015, when they call it the yard sale. Like he did a pod jump from one end of the stadium to the other and completely demolished the truck. And I didn't think
awesome.
That was great.
Yeah, exactly. And then fast forward to World Finals 20 in Orlando, he does the same thing again. He just obliterates the truck and just lawn darts the thing.
That jump you're talking about, that was 2018. I was there
18.
sitting right next to his crew chief, Ken Doug. So, he goes and does that, and me and David Ziers just look over at him. We're like, man, we're so sorry. And big mess. I mean, there was so many things in that truck that Ken Doug had replaced and had a hell of a time fixing. And then he went out and completely demolished everything that Ken Doug had fixed. But what an awesome moment that was. Nobody's ever going to forget that leap of death like what you're talking about, Spence.
The thing is, I would love to see pod jumping come back, but I know Monster Jam is so against it because I think Todd did a few big ass pod jumps in stadiums, and I think because of that, they're like, nope, no more. Like we can't be having that in a regular stadium event. Which I say boo because that makes the event even more entertaining. But whatever.
Yeah. So at this other show, we had another list of independents which featured Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. We had the what was it? Is it Buddy Tompkins? Is he driving Raising Cane at that show? I believe.
I'm not 100% on the lineup.
Well,
for
they had.
Pensacola.
This is what I'm trying to get at. They had something there that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. They had, an independent team with 2 trucks, but I noticed Matt Pagliarulo is by himself driving Jester as of right now. Anyways, I don't know if that's subject to change or not, but Travis, Kaylyn, y'all know. I mean, it just makes sense to throw 2 independent trucks in a trailer together, make those shows. I think it's kind of interesting that Matt Pagliarulo is going by himself. What do y'all think about that?
It's definitely interesting. Normally, when you got a 2-truck team and 1 truck out of the team gets booked, 9 times out of 10, the other truck will follow suit. But, they might have a double book situation, to where 1 truck's running somewhere, and the other truck's running elsewhere. So, there could be a lot of factors. With it being in Pensacola, I think that's rather close to them. I know they're a little bit farther south down in Florida, but, who's to say, what's really going on?
So now I've got a fresh lineup of what's going on here. And it does look like Nick is going to be in it now. So there's that.
I think the lineup you're talking about, it was Hartford, Connecticut, because I saw it posted on Instagram. It was Elvis and Mohawk, Kristen and Gravedigger. For whatever reason, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, Hooked and Stone Crusher were to be determined, and I don't know if this was a typo, but it says Crazy Train with Lloyd Twitchell.
Yes. No. Yes. I'm all jacked up.
User error. Just forget everything he just said.
Forget me. Yeah.
The paint's going straight to his brain, guys. I'm sorry.
He sprayed way too much on his brain.
So for this weekend, we got Downtown Randy Brown, Matt Pagliarulo, Jester, Nick Pag, Kraken. You've got Tristan England, Megalodon, which is interesting. He's not done some arena shows in a while. He's been on the stadium floor. See how that goes for him. You got Buddy Tompkins driving Exterminator. Not putting negative energy out in the universe, but y'all know what happened the last time he drove Exterminator. So, see.
We're not going to talk about that.
Why'd you even bring it up?
Yeah.
I just left it.
This will be the first time he drove Monster Jam and in Exterminator since then. So, there's that. You got Jack Brown and FTI Torque. And that's your lineup for this weekend. Now, what bets are we placing on Tristan England to sweep the entire weekend? Or Nick Pag has been on a roll lately. Independent shows, Monster Jam Arena shows. Nick has been doing well. But with that lineup that I just said right there, Spence, go ahead and give us your predictions for that show this weekend.
Dude's been consistent, man. Okay, I'm gonna put my underdog out there right now for racing, and that's gonna be Buddy Tompkins, because he, after his little mess up against Caleb Blood in the finals and East Rutherford, I think he's gonna be itching to get at least a win under his belt. So I think Buddy has the opportunity to, or at least has the itch to try and go further, at least in an arena show. But I have to agree with you. I think Tristan definitely has the capability of absolutely sweeping the weekend.
Okay. Travis, Kaylyn, what do y'all think?
I mean, I'm a huge Randy Brown fan. He's like my uncle, so I just gotta go for him. Plus, I've been on tour with him for like 3 years, so.
I have to. I'm gonna go for Tristan. He's a heck of a driver. He can wheel in an arena and a stadium, and he's looks like he's been on a roll himself here lately. It's always cool to watch what he can pull out of the old bag of tricks. So I'll probably put my money on him.
I mean, I gotta say, how do you go against Tristan right now?
Yeah,
like
how do you go against Tristan?
The role
That's my pick is Tristan.
Yeah, okay. I mean, so there's that. I will say, if there's anybody who could potentially throw a monkey wrench in this weekend, honestly, it could be any one of these drivers. This is actually a pretty good lineup of drivers here. But if there's somebody who's going to throw a monkey wrench in this weekend, possibly Nick Pagliarulo, just because he's been on fire as well. So look for that to be a great arena show. If I were to go watch a Monster Jam arena show, which I wouldn't buy tickets too often, that would be a great lineup to go and watch. Moving on, Austin Spence, what else we got to discuss tonight?
Well, honestly, those were kind of the major topics that we really needed to go over. So I think we should just focus the rest of the night on just talking to our guests for this evening, because you guys, both of you, have a really awesome history of this industry. Travis with your dad, Kaylyn with your father as well. I mean, who do you guys want to start with? I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
Well,
his
okay.
history goes back the farthest.
Wow. What are you talking about? Yeah.
What?
We'll go with Kaylyn.
No, flip him. Flip a
All right. So, Kaylyn, obviously, knowing your dad, Darren Migues, and running Nitro Menace, he's been in the circuit for quite some time. So, growing up, like, what was like the drive? Was it just like growing up seeing your dad kind of like interested you into finally getting behind the seat, or was it, did he like ask you to? Like, what was your drive to kind of like jump behind the wheel of one of these trucks?
His ears must have been ringing because he just walked out the door. I think he's been in the business for 17 years now. So, I mean, he's been doing it since I was 7 years old. So I always grew up around it. I was always around it. I never really had an interest in it until I hit about high school. And it kind of was, I guess I really didn't have interest in it, 100% interest, until I got behind the wheel. He needed a driver. He was in a pinch. He didn't have one. He said, hey, I just need you to do it this one time. So we went out to, because Jimmy Cretan doesn't live too far from us. So we went out to his field. I drove in my dad's fire suit, a pair of sneakers, and a helmet that was way too big. And we took the body off the truck, and I just drove around for about 2 hours. And then I got out, and he goes, all right, babe, your first show's in 4 days. And so then we went to my first show.
No
and
pressure. Holy crap.
Pretty much. It was the biggest mud show I've ever done. I mean, I've done a lot of mud shows, but it was one of the biggest ones. I mean, there was mud up to the wheel well. You couldn't get nowhere. I don't think anyone hit a stack of cars. And then not to mention the promoter didn't even want me there because it was my first show and because I was a girl. And
Oh,
I mean, I guess the rest from there is history, and that was in 2015.
Now, let me ask you something. Kaylyn, have you been up to Monster Jam University and drove their test track there?
I mean, it wasn't really like Monster Jam University. Like, I didn't get no certificate, but I did go up there for 3 days in the blazing July summer heat, and it was absolutely horrible. But I went up there with Macy Nichter and Colette Davis.
Now, I was told, and you can let me know if I'm wrong on this. I was told a long time ago that you went up to Monster Jam University and you hit a car, just like a regular car, and you rolled over after you hit the car. Is that true or not true?
No, that was Macy Nichter.
Ah.
Well, and they don't have any cars out there.
Okay.
It's just the dirt. It's just the arena dirt pod, and the only time I rolled twice, I rolled once off the 8-pack, and then I took off from the starting line, and I barrel rolled like 3 or 4 times, right in the corner. I'll show you the video if you don't believe me.
I've seen it firsthand. I'm good.
I saw stars. And then, Tom is in the headset. He goes, all right, boys, we're going to need to take that one inside.
So I know my dad, Rodney, is a huge fan of your dad, Kaylyn. I know they go way back as well. But, we talked about COVID and how that affected our industry. And, not having any shows, nothing to do, the trucks are parked. And I know my dad was really worried about y'all. I mean, what did y'all do to carry on through that time of being shut out in COVID?
So that really hit our family hard because my mom worked for the county, so my mom continued working remotely from home. But I mean, the monster trucks is that's all my dad does. We don't have really. I mean, my dad before our metalworking business, my dad all he had was the trucks. He had nothing else. So. And then, for me, the trucks was all I had, plus I worked in a hair salon. Well, the hair salon got shut down too. So basically we're in limbo. But luckily, like, we do have a larger semi that is like a motorhome, but we also have our old black Volvo. So my dad was able to take his Volvo and he went and he worked for a trucking company. And so my dad just hauled freight. And I mean, he was gone for multiple weeks at a time, just doing anything he could to bring in $1.
So y'all, like you had mentioned it briefly, but y'all had kind of put some resources together and y'all came up with what is now known as TK Metalworks, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't y'all
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that? If you want to go ahead and play the footage that we have for that, y'all can explain to us what TK Metalworks is.
So basically, TK Metalworks is like a one-stop fabrication shop. We can do anything from small to big, mild to wild. I mean, what you're seeing here is just some of our, plasma cut items that we do. But we, also do stuff like, custom trailers. Like we've outfitted a couple race trailers for some teams. We did some for Jimmy Cretin. We did some for Paul Jensen. Like that picture there, I was putting a new fifth wheel hitch and Jimmy Cretin's rig. That's like a one-off little cocktail holder. That right there, that's actually like those are log stacks that Jimmy Cretin uses as ramps for his shows. Those are adjustable, so you can change the angle to get a different reaction out of it. So we do a little bit of everything. We also do some powder coating as well. And it kind of started as I was living out in Virginia. I had a pretty nice job, corporation job, and it was nice and all, but it just wasn't me. I'm not the guy to do the 9 to 5, same thing every day type thing. So I did that for, I think it was like 2 years or something like that, and then kind of got tired of it. And then Darren was doing what he could during the whole COVID, and then I was also missing monsters at that point. I was out for probably close to seems to be about 2 years on everything, away from it. And then I wanted to kind of get involved back in it, because once you're in monster trucks, you're hooked for life. I mean, it's hard to give it up. You can say you're going to give it up. You can say what you want, but you sit down for a while and it's going to get you. So, me and Darren, we just put our heads together and our knowledge and resources, and, TK Metalworks was born. And so me and Kaylyn, we made the move out here to Kansas about 2-3 months ago.
We've been out here since March.
Yeah, so something like that. I don't know. But anyways, we've been out here for
March is a long time ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
He thinks like I do.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that long ago. It was just the other day, and you're like, honey, that was like last year.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah, it seems like it was just yesterday, but so now we're balancing the metalworks and the monsters. So that's actually, the metalwork has taken off huge compared to what we thought it was. We didn't really anticipate it, growing quite as fast as it did. We do more local work than we do, online sales and stuff, but, we're constantly working to build the name bigger and constantly trying to do new things and, just have something different. I like being creative. I like working with Darren. We do some pretty awesome things, want some one-off things that you wouldn't see at a normal fabrication shop. So, it's cool. If you guys want to check it out, we're on Facebook and Instagram. We got a website. We're also sell our products on Etsy and Facebook shop and all that stuff. That's more Kaylyn's forte. I make it happen in the shop.
I take the pictures and put it online.
Well, so far from what we've seen, y'all are killing it, and it's a sigh of relief for me to see. It's like, okay, there's some stuff there. It's like, I'm sure I could like tack together and make it work, but y'all stuff just looks awesome. So I know the day that we get a race trailer, we need retrofit or something, I know where to send it now. So
I tell you what, I got a project. See that flag behind Tweety right there? I need something that's metal and engraved the throttle out show just to hang it right behind me or in my garage. That'd be sick. If you guys got the technology, I'll send the PNGs your
We
way.
can do that.
We can make it happen.
Hell yeah.
So Spence, you brought this up before, and I want you
what I
to
do.
elaborate on it a little bit. And Travis, you can kind of tag team this topic, but you've already mentioned it before. But this log stack that you were talking about that you had made for a Cretan show, Austin, kind of tell us why you thought that is a great idea.
So this is ingenious because we've seen Monster Jam do this. They kind of have something similar that they bring along with them. But when you go to, like, especially some of the shows I've been to, some of the mounds of dirt and obstacles that they make during a show, they wear down. The hill isn't as steep. You can't hit a popper. You can't hit a wheelie. I think this is ingenious because regardless, it's going to stay. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll get bent up and, over time, but this will last way longer than just a standard, hill or mounded dirt that you make. I think this is really awesome. Not to mention, I didn't know that it was adjustable. So I really want to see like what different type of angles you guys could actually put this log stack at.
I think it's 3 angles, right?
Yeah, it's 3 angles to give you basically for the 3 different types of what you see in the show, wheelies, racing, freestyle. Granted, I mean it can be changed during the show, but yeah, it's not really a lengthy process, but it's not something I guess you want to sit there and do in front of a crowd of people, So there's, I think it's a total of 6 of them or whatever, and placed throughout the track, different variations of angles or whatnot. But, it definitely is a lot more consistent than cars. But, kind of like the biggest thing or the reason why, we'd made them was because crush cars are rather getting expensive nowadays, and for a promoter to buy cars just for them to be crushed and then either sold back or gave back to the junkyard, however that works. I mean it just kind of isn't, I guess, is an ongoing expense, and if you can just spend money one time and reuse it, why not, and get something better out of it. So that's where we created the log stacks, and it took a little bit of trial and error to fine tune them. But now, I mean, they've been going strong ever since I think it was January, February is when we built the first set. And Jimmy does a show every weekend with them, so they're holding up strong.
They haven't even had to replace the log yet.
No, and that logs are just some telephone poles I found on Facebook Marketplace.
That's
So
resourceful. I like that.
Went and picked a bunch of those up, and then we just. It honestly started out, we just we mocked everything up with 2x4s, and we got our design set and went with it. We got some really high grade steel, and we definitely put a lot of thought into it, so that way we knew it wasn't going to fail. And that's something me and Darren try to pride ourselves in, is anything that we send out the door is built almost on overkill, because we don't want nothing to come back. Failure's not an option.
So is there an obstacle you guys want to attempt next, or are you guys going to make a bunch more of these for other promoters possibly?
There's definitely been some talk about doing some more of these for other promoters, but we're leaving it up to whenever they want to pull the trigger on that. But as far as, other obstacles, I mean, there's definitely some things that we've talked about, but, it comes down to how practical it would be hauling it around, and, what we would actually get out of it. Because, when you start, launching a 12,000-pound monster truck off these obstacles on a, consistent basis, I mean, and, if you're doing something with a lot of moving parts, you got to have your mindset right as far as how you're going to build it.
Safety for everyone else, from the driver too. So I know sometimes, like, hitting different obstacles, especially ones that aren't a car, it can honestly feel like you're hitting a brick wall. So
Yeah.
that's been concerned the driver. Plus, you got to make sure nothing's gonna fall apart when someone hits it, so it doesn't go into like the crowd or anything.
Yeah, like I would say probably the next obstacle that we're gonna be working on is gonna be something that mimics a Jersey barrier, to give you a little popper action for some moonwalks, or reverse poppers, or whatever the driver decides to do. But that'd probably be the next obstacle we come up with.
Nice.
Oh, hey, I can't wait to see it. I'm already following you guys on TK Metalworks. I love seeing your guys' progress and all the new stuff you guys come out with.
Everything y'all have made is it's been clean. I mean, it looks like it's done by true professionals. And so, kind of get into your background, Travis, a little bit. I know that you worked with Tim Minte for a little while. Whenever I kind of got into the Monster Jam scene, Tim Minte was right there alongside Dave Radziris, and like he was always talking about all the stuff that you did for him. You're like his right hand man. So, kind of talk about working with Tim Minte for just a little bit.
Tim's like a father figure to me. He's ever since we had met back when I was crewing for Todd LeDuc in Metal Militia, and he was on the same tour as me, and basically we had had a couple conversations about where we saw our futures, and we both realized that they both kind of lined up and worked out for each other. So you know, when I started driving for Tim, I didn't really kind of know what to expect, because when you first look at Tim, you're like, but he's a good dude. He's got the whole Minte family. They've got a heart of gold. Tim would do anything for you.
Yeah.
He would give you the shirt off his back, all the money in his pocket, just to do whatever he can. He is a very good guy. My teammate at the time, Steve Thompson, he's like a brother to me. So I thoroughly enjoyed working with Tim. We were up in the middle of nowhere, Maryland, which was nice. And he was cool. With how me and Steve ran the trucks. I mean, might have pushed the boundaries a little bit as far as driving a couple times, but they're monster trucks. They're gonna break. But all in all, man, Tim's a great dude, and we still talk.
Daily.
I wouldn't say daily,
It's
but
almost daily.
we talk pretty often. At least a couple times a week, and it sucks I'm not as close as I was, as far as distance. He was just about 4 hours from me when I was living in Virginia, but now it's about 20 hours or so. But it's all part of life. You got chapters in your books, and he was a great chapter, and unfortunately turned the page, and thankful we could still be good friends.
So, kind of changing gears a little bit, we haven't talked about the wild hair topic yet, have we?
No, we
Yep.
have not. We should.
So, I want to know where you fall into play with wild hair, because Harley brought this up and I had no idea. So, how do you relate to the wild hair monster truck, Travis?
So the last driver / owner of the Wild Hair Monster Truck was my father, Ray Mowery. And back then when my dad had the truck, I was 7, 8, 9 years old, something like that. And I'm really bad with age and years and all, but I was back in elementary school at that time, and so he was just living his childhood dream, and it was simple. We didn't have nothing special. I mean, he did most of the work on the truck, either in our driveway at our house, or he did it actually in the trailer, just because we didn't have a shop at the time. And I really kind of look up to my dad for living that. I mean, it definitely wasn't easy, and it didn't really end the best way, but I can at least say that he did it, and to be able to watch him do it and also be a part of it was pretty awesome.
So was it your dad's idea? Because I remember when that wild hair came back, it had the the pearlescent paint, where like you look at one way it's purple, one way it's green. Was that your dad's idea?
No, when he had actually purchased the truck from a gentleman named Jason Whitty, right out of the St. Louis area, Missouri. And when he purchased the truck from Jason, it had already had that translucent color. I forget what they call it. It was actually called Chrome Illusion. It was a paint by DuPont that they made, and it was pretty gnarly. You look at it one way in the sun and it was purple. You looked at it another way and it was green. But that paint was also came with a price as well. So to answer the question, no, it was already like that when you purchased the truck.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now I'll kind of bounce over to Kaylyn real quick. So you drove the Freedom Keeper monster truck, is that right?
Yeah.
So Freedom
that
Keeper
truck was it was like, so when my dad first bought the trucks, it was obviously a robo machine and get her done. And he only ran a couple shows like that, but then my dad actually hired my cousin to drive, and he's a vet. So that's kind of where Freedom Keeper came from. He came up with it. It was dedicated to him because he was in the Marines and he was stationed out in California. So it's kind of dedicated to him, and he drove for a year or two. I'm not totally positive. But the travel life really, at the time for him, wasn't really his thing. Being gone on the road for, they'd be gone for 3 to 4 months at a time, because my dad was doing stadiums in California, and that's a good 20-30 hour drive from here. So they were gone a lot, and the travel life just really wasn't for him. So then when I started driving, I was a senior in high school, so I was trying to balance school. I danced on the high school dance team. I danced outside of school, and I was driving a truck. So my life was pretty busy, but I only drove like 1 month.
Yeah.
And then once I graduated, and it was like January after I graduated was when we had changed it over to Jailbird.
Okay, so when you drove Jailbird, and then here just a year or two ago, you got to drive a very popular monster truck in Monster Mutt Dalmatian. What was that like getting into rep Monster Mutt Dalmatian team?
So I was really nervous to start driving it because I knew it came with a huge following from Candace driving it and then Cynthia driving it, and it just kept growing. And then they added, my cousin-in-law Kristen, and then me. I'm like, well, you're just a whole bunch of girls out here trying to win, and I kind of felt a lot of pressure because I knew, kids love that truck. People come with signs, and I mean, I had one kid in a costume. Like, it was amazing, and I definitely, and someone's gonna agree, just drove a lot harder and tore a lot more up. But I guess in my defense, I didn't have to pay for the body.
Oh, you got
There you go.
I kind of had a free. I wouldn't get yelled at for rolling over because I wouldn't have to fix it rolling over. But I definitely tore up a lot more stuff that first year driving. But I did have a lot of fun, and just seeing the fans, and I guess I wasn't prepared for the longer line during autographs, but it was so cool to see like how dedicated they were. And I mean, I do hope that once things get back rolling, and hopefully eventually they do put me back in it because I would like it.
So did they have somebody like that worked for the company come over and throw the dog for you? Because I remember someone showing me a video that somebody threw the dog bone 2 rows up into the stands.
So that was our lovely crew guy. I think
Brad.
It was Brad. He works for Zane Ratu now. At least I think he still does. I'm really not sure. But he threw it all. He was just start to shy, and I think he felt pressured from the crowd. But I mean, I don't think I've ever had a good throw.
Yeah.
I never had. I mean, I had Brad and when we had Mike, both of them fell, and then they would fall out of my sight. Of course, I'm supposed to quote unquote bark at the bone, and the bone came with a lid of a laminated sheet of rules. Is what the bone came with.
What?
Tell me what to do, where to put it, everything. So, and then when they would fall or throw it too far or trip and fall, and they would have to shut me off, or I'd have to hit the brakes because I don't know where they are. So I can't see them. The bone is not good.
See, I say bring back the old actual real dog bones to throw on the track, because if it gets tore up,
away because Candace's guy threw it into the crowd and it hit somebody.
Oh geez.
Oh no.
So that's why I had to take it out. No. We went to the inflatable. Someone said when Mike Nug tripped. Yeah, that was he tripped 3 times to be exact.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Tire shoes, Nug.
He stood up and then he fell and stood up and then he fell.
By the time I was done laughing, she was already done freestyling.
Well, how do you think I felt? I had to then focus and not screw up and not think about that.
Now, we had
a question. In the tunnel bent over.
We had a question come in just a few minutes ago, and I apologize if I missed this, but Carnage Production was asking, how did you get the name Jailbird?
So I actually didn't come up with it, because Nitro Menace used to be Menace, and we had come up with that on our own. We kind of always struggled coming up with another name. We then had, at the time, a sponsor called Nitro Lubricants. They gave us our motor oil, cleaning products, stuff like that. So that's how it became Nitro Menace. And then we kind of fell out with the sponsor, but we just stuck with Nitro Menace because it just fit so much better. So I guess I was just going down the road one day. He says he was going down the highway and he came up with Jailbird. He said that he wanted the trucks to have a similar theme, so you knew that they belonged together. So he's the whole burglar scene. She's been in jail. And then the guy who designs both of our trucks, he's a younger guy out of Australia. And he designed both of them. He does an amazing job. But he's the one who kind of put my vision to reality. I told him what I wanted her to look like. And I guess a lot of people say it looks like me, but that was never intended.
And then we got a question for Travis. How did you come with the name, or how did you come up with the name Extreme Attitude?
So that actually goes back to my dad. Before my dad purchased the wild hair truck, he had a dream just like we all do, and he had sketched out it on an old Ford body, and he come up with Extreme Attitude. Just he thought the name was just cool, and it stood out, and it didn't really look exactly like how I have it designed up today, but same colors, which kind of coincidentally is my favorite colors. Black, blue, and silver all together. But it was a name that, I guess I wouldn't say he never made happen. But, it kind of got forgotten about, and, I have driven a handful of trucks, throughout my time in this industry. And, I felt that, it was time to have my own identity, and, some people agreed the name fit me well. But it's kind of cool just to kind of bring back some old history, I guess. From before the wild hair days, and kind of make it happen in today's world.
I'm not gonna lie, I really want to see Jailbird and Extreme Attitude line up. I think that'd be a really good match.
Well, you
I think
will
so.
soon.
And then we had somebody else comment. I don't know if y'all can make any sense of this or not, but Nick Migues thinks that a lot of people have told him he looks like the Jailbird, but he doesn't actually see that rhythm.
I gotta give a shout out to Nick. He really stepped in. When I got pregnant, he basically drove my truck the entire last summer for me. Because one, it wouldn't have been safe for me, and two, I would not have been able to fit into a fire suit at that point.
I hope they gave Nick like a wig or something to wear, like during pit party and everything.
He did wear my pink helmet.
He still does.
He still does. He does. And he's gonna wear it next week too when he drives for me.
Yeah. No, Nick's a good dude. He does. I think he resembles her. Well on the side of the truck. But he's a good dude, man. He's been with us a lot. Whether it's driving or crewing.
He was our officially. Him and Nick and I were Dad's first employees. So Dad just carrying, because Nick's only 3 months younger than me, so we've been close ever since we were little. But there's, Dad, I don't know how old he was at the time, but, just carrying two 18-year-old kids around the country. So much fun.
He's always good for a little smart ass pun when things aren't going so well. That always brightens the mood. So.
Last weekend when the transmission went out, it's a good old time right now or something like that.
Yeah, he said something that it just,
it makes you laugh when you're pissed off.
Yeah, no matter what exactly bad is going on, it puts a smile on your face, so you can always count on that.
I like that. That's kind of funny. Is he at all in like your guys' headset, like talking to you guys?
Oh yeah. He crewed for me and Darren, or actually him and Kristen crewed for us this past weekend in Nashville, and all weekend Nick was on headset with us, and he was in our ears, not really so much during racing, but freestyle or two wheel, kind of just letting us know where we're at, or what's going on. So he's definitely a good help, and he knows what he's doing.
Especially because whoever's in the headset is definitely your eyes when things you can't see. Whoever's on the headset, you need them to know what the heck they're saying, because if they're not saying anything, you're gonna. At least I'll unplug you real quick and I'll just ignore you.
Well, when we were talking to Cooper, they were saying how, like, with Candace Jolly, like, someone needs to basically badmouth her in order for her to put on a freestyle. So I didn't know if Nick Migues would, like, talk crap to one of you guys in order for you to, pick up the pace a little bit.
Not so much. Me and Darren, we got a pretty good, I wouldn't say rival, but we know how to poke each other to make each other drive harder. And me and Kaylyn, we haven't honestly done too many shows, side by side, but that's going to change here in the future. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, hey, Nick
I'm
just
going to look
doesn't
forward to
say
it.
it out
He's
loud.
going to say he never sees
Probably smart. So you guys, since you guys are fairly, like, I guess, newish to driving. Like, no, you don't have like decades under your belt like some of these drivers. So my question is, do you guys remember, if you have, I don't know if you've ever rolled or not, but do you guys remember your first crash or rollover?
Mine's a record. That's the only place that place remembers me for.
Wait.
I guess mine would be Miami, Oklahoma, 2016. I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember it at all. Actually, I just remember taking off from the starting line, and then I woke up upside down, and my dad was in the window saying, "Hey, how's it going?"
So was this racing or was this a freestyle run?
It was racing. It was like the huge Miami, Oklahoma show they do every year. I was going against Dawn. She was a knucklehead, and they had like 2 speed bumps. And on the second or first speed bump, the back end of the truck got cockeyed. And I remember the night before, my dad told me, he goes, "If you want to win that bad, just don't lift." So I didn't, and I ended up going up the side of a jammer stack and nosing over. And I know that I cost my dad about 15 grand in 8 seconds.
Oh.
But did you win?
No, I didn't even cross the line.
Oh.
Wow, wow.
So but then I know everything from, like, basically from the transfer case forward had to get replaced. 4-link bars, shocks.
Basically, the front fell off.
Pretty, like, they were pulling, like, I know when they flipped me over and towed me off, like, they pulled a 4-link bar out of the ground, a tie bar out of the ground. And then I guess just one of the scary things was just how close I got to the crowd. That was definitely an eye opener. And then I think it was a while. Well, no, I rolled like a month later. Never mind.
I gotta say, for first wreck, that's pretty impressive. I'm gonna have to find a YouTube clip of that somewhere, because that sounds pretty insane just for a racing pass.
Better, the Monster blog has they have the wreck at about 7 different angles.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What about you, Travis? Do you remember your first wreck, or is there one that just stands out?
Not really.
Very first one.
I don't remember my very first one. I definitely had a pretty good couple of them that have rung my bell. I do remember one that put me to sleep for a few seconds. Where was it up? In Manchester? Worcester?
No, you were never in Worcester. I was in Worcester, and I crashed there. You were in Manchester at the wall.
Okay, that's where it was, Manchester. Yeah, so it was kind of, one of those deals to where the pod was really close to the dashers of the arena, and
the jumps were more vertical than anything.
Yeah, like you didn't even have a full truck length between the face of the ramp and the wall, so you had to like drive into it. There wasn't no lining up. You just had to drive into it and go. And that was before I knew the old, I guess, trick of splitting the 8-pack. And I hit the 8-pack straight on, and went straight up and pogoed straight back off the tires and went straight to cage. And last thing I remember is falling backwards, and I woke up upside down. And it happens. This monster truck, I shook it off and put the body back together. And I think we had like 2 or 3 shows left that weekend, so it happens.
So
listen,
I was looking at your list of accolades here, Travis, and Harley had put on here that you had drove NEA police in Brazil. Is that right?
Yeah, that was actually like my first Monster Jam breakout. Me and my teammate at the time, Steve Thompson, we had spent 3 weeks down there. We were doing some like marketing and some displays and stuff. It was, a really great time. And we had run the NEA body. It was actually the very last time the truck's ever been out there. And I was told, don't bring the body back in one piece. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, how am I going to do that but keep everything that the body's bolted to intact? And, so it was actually a really nerve-wracking time for me, because I'd never been in a stadium environment as a driver. And to kind of go out there and have a breakout, I didn't do so good in racing, but I ended up finishing, I think it was like 3rd or 4th in freestyle against a pretty solid lineup. So after that, it kind of, really opened my eyes, and I guess you could say allowed me to spread my wings, because right after that, I went into zombies for first quarter. But it was a very good time. Very thankful for it. Hopefully maybe go back down there another day.
So one last question for me is, y'all have kind of done a little bit of everything, right? You've done the smaller, county shows. You've done the big stadium shows. You've gone overseas, like you just said, Travis. You've talked a little bit about TK Metalworks, but what's really the future for y'all's brand, for y'all's team? Are we expecting to grow TK Metalworks, to 100, person company? Are y'all wanting to expand the monster truck team more, or y'all got some different plans?
So, the monsters, they're not going to slow down. They're in both of our blood, so it'd only be right just to keep them going, and especially with our son Crew. I would just love to see him behind the wheel one day. As far as TK Metalworks, my goal is I would love to have, an employee at each machine running for 8 hours a day, just nonstop. And then as far as, the monsters, it's definitely probably going to see a lot more of me and Kaylyn in the future. Darren, he's still going to be around. But just, I guess you can say, nothing against Darren, but, to keep things fresh, and on the up and up, me and Kaylyn are going to try to, move forward and keep progressing as much as we can, in fairgrounds, arena, stadium, whatever we get thrown at us, we're gonna take on with arms open. So it's a struggle, not a bad struggle. It's just a struggle.
Trying to balance it all.
Yeah, trying to balance being parents or new parents, I guess you could say, and having our own business, and then also running the monsters full time, especially since monsters are firing back up since COVID. I mean, we haven't stopped nonstop and this year, and it's looking like it's going to be like that for the rest of the year, which isn't a bad thing. But we're just going to keep plugging away, hammer down, and hope for the best.
Stay busy.
Yeah.
I think the future is gonna be bright for monster trucks, because think about Tweety, Harley. When we're Darren Migues' age, we've got Crew. Is his last name Mowery? Or is it Migues?
It's Mowery.
It's Mowery. So we got Crew Mowery, you got Crash England, you got Ray Sanderson. Like, those are the most monster truck names out there. Like, that is awesome.
We had Crew picked out before. Well, I guess for the longest time we've always had Crew picked out, not even thinking about monster trucks ever, because he had started a corporate job, so we never thought he was going to drive again. But guess we'll just see where it takes us.
That's awesome.
Well, Spence, you got anything else for them before we transition to something else?
Honestly, at the moment, no. I love that what you guys are doing. I'm really happy we got a chance to sit down and talk to both of you. You guys are an awesome couple. I hope you guys hopefully come up here to like the Midwest a little bit, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, so I could actually check you guys out.
We'll be until Toledo.
The end of August.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to Toledo. It's
There
about
you
an
go.
hour and a half drive from me. I'll be there.
Well, something else that's happening this weekend is Dennis Anderson is putting on an event down there in Oklahoma. And as awesome as this lineup looks, if you go to their website, you look at all the cool stuff they've had going on. It's just like week-long festival with razors and mega trucks, mud trucks, and then obviously you got monster trucks. You got the world record mega truck jump coming up by King Sling. I've not seen a lot of promotion, a lot of advertising for this event, y'all.
Well, consider this free promotion, Mr. Anderson, and in return, we expect you to come on the Throttle Out show.
I'm sure he will. He'll get right on that. I know.
In return, since he did the mohawk, the purple mohawk, I'll do the handlebar mustache. How about that?
There you go.
But you have an event, such as this, being put on by Dennis Anderson, the legendary Dennis Anderson. All these big name trucks are going to be there. You got the Garner Camp. Almost all their trucks are going to be there with the exception of Terminal Velocity. I believe Corey Romo's going to be driving there as well. Jim Kohler. And then you got the Axe truck. I'm not sure who's driving that. John Gordon. all the Saigon Shaker. I'm seeing that now. And then Tim Jones, Twisted Addiction. You know, all these great trucks, this stacked lineup for trucks. And I've not seen anything unless you go straight to their website.
It looks like Team Scream, the Gardner Camp, and then you got Jay Gore's 2 trucks. But the truck that we saw on display, because there was an image out there of the actual like off-road park that has their own body. It had Corey Rummel's name on it, but it was actually on like Jay Gore's chassis. So I'm not sure how that's all gonna work out. But regardless, it's a stacked lineup. But with the way this summer's going, Team Gardner's gonna take it.
I mean, yeah, they're on a roll right now. And if there's one other clip that I've seen, it was one of their midweek shenanigans. It wasn't necessarily monster truck related. They had a mega truck pulling an old boat that was on fire and jumped over a school bus. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, boys dream of doing. You know, they did similar, we did similar stuff on our bikes as kids, but now we're doing stuff with our mega trucks and our monster trucks. I mean, I'd have loved to have gone to this festival, but I didn't even see anything on this. I was like, do we look into purchasing tickets to go into this event? Because I'd only ever saw stuff on that website that I got from another crew guy who had messaged me and was like, hey, this event's happening in a few weeks. If y'all want to talk about this. So I'm like, is it even going to happen? But it's there. It's happening this weekend. It looks like it's going to be a great time. And, maybe we didn't see a whole lot of promoting for it, but who knows? It's Dennis Anderson. It's going to work out well for him.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, I hope somebody out there, if anybody's watching, please get footage. We want to see what happens. I want to see a monster truck towing something on fire going over a jump. I don't care what it is. I just know if Dennis is in charge, shenanigans are surely going to ensure. Sorry. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. I saw images of the track being built. Holy crap. It is massive. So hopefully it turns out to be a really good show.
Other than that, Travis and Kaylyn, y'all are awesome for joining us tonight. It was so much fun to get to know y'all. We love your family. We love what y'all are doing in the industry, especially with TK Metalworks. So thank you so much for coming on tonight, y'all.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Definitely enjoyed it.
You bet you. Well, I tell you what, y'all, thanks for tuning in tonight. Remember, when in doubt, throttle out. Peace out, y'all. Good night.